Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? Welcome to a beautiful Wednesday morning. It's warm and sunny here. And just on a thank you note, thank you for making my book, Aspects at the Speed of Light and Overnight Success. I couldn't believe this book actually surpassed my conjunction book in terms of the sex. Oh, come on, my dirty mind. No. In terms of the success it received with all the people who are buying the book, whether it's paperback and ebook. It's funny that a significant amount of you actually bought the paperback book. So I guess they're still in fashion. Okay. So anyway, today we're going to be discussing second lord of the 10th house, which I know most of you are desperately waiting and asking and emailing me for it. So here we go. What happens when the lord of the second house in your horoscope moves to the 10th house? And there's actually a connection here, okay? Well, what is the second house? Second house represents your wealth. Second house represents your assets, your family assets, what you value. It's your hoarded wealth. It's your savings. It's your jewelry, gold, stocks, anything that you hoard as whatever puts value to you. It's the second house. It's the house of your speech because it controls the vocal cord. It controls this face region. Of your body. So a lot of important things comes through the second house. And so what happens when it moves to the 10th house? Well, 10th house is a house of your career. It's a house of your karma. It's called karma bhava, meaning that it's a house of your doing, what you do for a living. So it's a house of your career, house of your reputation, how up and down your reputation is, how dignified your reputation is. Are you a respectable person or are you a hated person? It's from the 10th house. 10th house is also the house of father. It shows the relationship with the father, condition of the father. And also, since father is the king of the house, 10th house also represents the king himself, which is the government in new age, I guess you can say. So government, dealing with governments are seen from the 10th house. 10th house is also the house of fame because it's the brightest house in the zodiac, because 10th house is always right above you, right where the sun is during the 1 o'clock time. That's the 10th house. So it's the brightest, it's the most highest point. So everybody looks at the sky and looks up. So it becomes a very important house regarding fame. So what happens when your 10th lord comes into the second lord comes into the 10th house? Well, it shows that what you value, what you really feel that is a source of security to you is your career. But that's easy to say because everybody values their career. But the thing is, their sense of security, their sense of well-being comes when they do well in their career. You know, some people are not so concerned about the career. They feel like, you know what? If I just have this much money, I'll be fine in life. But then there are those people who feel like, I don't care how much money I have, I need to be working. I need to be in an authoritative position because of what I value is ranking, what I value is authoritative position, and what I value is hard work. And that's what this house represents. Like these people always want to work. They want to work. They want to bring something value to society, because 10th house is society. It's the things that are outside of your home, because 4th house is your privacy, 10th house is outside of your home. So it shows that your value system is not going to society, it's not going to authority, it's not going into your career. You want to bring value into your career. You want to bring value into, in a community field or in like a small society or a big society at large. Okay, but your focus will be different and your ability to do what you want to do will be different according to the planet that goes from the second house to the 10th house. So let's say if your second house lord is sun and sun goes into the 10th house, what happens then? Well, as you know, if sun is ruling your second house, which is a sign of Leo, and sun rules that, it goes into the 10th house of Aries, sun is exalted there, especially at 10 degrees. And if your sun is between 10 to even like 5 to 20 degrees, it's a really bright, nice sun. Not only it is exalted, it's in the brightest side of the sky. What it shows is that your value comes through being authoritative. Your value comes through becoming a manager, supervising something. You want to work for the government. There's easy access to the government resources. because second house is resources. So sun is, and here's the thing about sun. Sun in astrology represents your sources as well. Sun is not only your ego, personality, and your soul, but it represents your resources and is a significator of the 10th house of career. And sun represents your father, government. So again, a lot of strong ties here with the government and father. Father can be a huge influence in society regarding your career. Maybe your father was a politician. Maybe your father is a very well-respected government worker or a businessman. And through him, you were able to get access to a corporation. Through him, you were able to get access to becoming a government employee, a government lawyer, maybe an IAS officer or IIS officer, and all these IA kind of officers in India or anywhere else in the world. So what it shows that your personality is very confident, very authoritative, and what you value is when you are bringing leadership skills into your workplace. You can't just be working under somebody. Somehow, naturally, the universe progresses you to the higher level and higher ranking in a corporation or in the government. Let's say moon. Moon rules your second house. Moon goes into the 12th house. Moon is in the sign of Pisces in the 10th house. Sign of Pisces represents that it's a very imaginative sign. It's a very intuitive, spiritual sign. And moon is your mother. Moon is your mind. Moon is your peace of mind, the way you think. What this shows, what you value is in your career, but you value the career that where you are able to think and able to use your imagination for something. Now this could be many things. This could be, you can be an artist, you could be a singer, you can be a poet, you can be a writer, you can even be a scientist, like Einstein. Einstein used his imagination a lot, and in his 10th house he had Venus, Mercury, Saturn, Sun in the sign of Pisces. He used his imagination to come out with a theory of relativity. And moon, which is your mind, it shows you what you value is creative information. What you value is imaginative work field, imaginative, thinking pattern in life. So it's a great position for a writer, great position for a singer. Let's say Mercury rules your second house and goes into the 10th house. What is Mercury? Mercury is your intellectual, your intelligence, your analytical skills, your logical thinking, putting things into perspective comes from Mercury. Mercury is a businessman, natural businessman. Mercury is a natural communicator, a natural salesman, because Mercury is a significator of a speech. It's a significator of the way you talk. So when Mercury is ruling the second house, goes into the 10th house, shows that your value comes through not only communication, but comes through doing business, of anything related to your family, anything related to what you value. You may value anything. And, Mercury can represent a scientific thinking. Mercury can represent, being in a business of science, being in, an intuitive, and not intuitive, like institutionalized place and learning there and teaching there, like a teacher. So, because Mercury also represents teaching as well. Because to be a teacher in this real world, you have to be very organized, logical, and analytical. Like Jupiter represents a higher philosophical teacher, like a divine teacher. But Mercury is like your mathematics teacher, your science teacher, your geography teacher. Okay, so there's a lot of emphasis on career regarding Mercury in terms of, let's say, a great salesman and a businessman, a great writer, and as I said, a great teacher. You guys are naturally able to teach people value. You give something. See, again, second house is value. You're bringing the value into your career, and with Mercury, you are teaching values to others. You're providing value to others. Okay, let's say if Mars, or let's say Venus comes in. Venus rules your second house. Venus rules your second house, and Venus goes into the 10th house. What happens? Well, Venus is what? Venus is relationships. Venus is sensual pleasures. Venus is artisticness. Venus is performing arts. Venus is any kind of decorative, creative things that you do in life. Okay? Because Venus is all about beauty and just like enjoying pleasures of life. So when Venus goes into the 10th house, it shows one value into the field of career needs to provide them with the sensual pleasures, need to provide them with meaningful relationships. Like these guys love forming professional relationships, And through those professional relationships, they feel that they have gotten something of value in their second house. They're like, I got resources of relationships. If something goes wrong, I know this employee, I know this coworker, I know this boss from previous job. I value them. And what Venus does is brings creativity into your career. You may choose a career related to creativity, whether it's designing, whether it's architecture, whether it's painting, whether it's even singing or acting as a career, especially voice. Since second house rules the voice, strong signification regarding singing career. Okay, but remember, if Venus or any planet is receiving aspects and conjunctions from other planets, that's when you gotta judge those things to see what's happening with the Venus. And this is why I wrote my books, Conjunctions at the Speed of Light and Aspects at the Speed of Light, to tell you what is a conjunction doing, what is an aspect doing on Venus. So this goes for every planet. Okay, let's say Mars rules your second house. Mars rules your second house and goes into the 10th house. Well, it may be a good thing and a bad thing. Well, let's say Mars rules your second house as a Scorpio and it goes into the 10th house, is debilitated, especially if it's within 25 and 30 degrees of Cancer. It's really debilitated. But what is Mars though? Mars is your energy, willpower, your fighting ability, your fighting skills. It's a part of your ego, because your ego is all it's obsessed about power. We are all obsessed about power. We want power. So what Mars shows, Mars is a general. He's a general, he's a soldier in the army. And Mars goes into the 10th house. Mars can truly show what you value is getting authority on others. What you value is serving the government like a soldier. You can also see Mars represents a lot of things. It can represent a soldier, policeman, detective, lawyer, real estate, land development, engineer. It can represent chemical business, represent surgeon. Especially now if it's debilitated or not debilitated in the sign of Cancer, and Cancer in the sign related to nourishing people, taking care of people, it can show somebody easily in a profession of nursing, in a profession of being a doctor, surgeon, medical surgeon, or if it receives an aspect from like Sun or sits with the Sun, it receives an aspect conjunction of Rahu or Mercury, it can show somebody who works in the government as a lawyer, or who works just simply in the government as a soldier or as a policeman, as serving the king, because Mars always serves the king. So that's what you got to remember. So it represents a lot of things, but you just got to see, like, okay, what is my interest? My interest is land, and my Mars is in the 10th house, and it's also aspect of the 4th house of land. So that's how you can easily choose, okay, this is what's happening with myself. But obviously you have to go into the divisional charts and the Tamtra chart to really see what's happening. But obviously this is a basic house-to-house scenario that I'm doing. Let's say if Jupiter rules your second house. Jupiter rules your second house, goes into the 10th house. What this can show that what you value absolutely in your career is knowledge. You want to learn through your career. You want a career where you can learn and you can also provide guidance to others. So it can mean a lot of things. Your value comes through providing guidance, as in counseling. You can be a psychologist, psychiatrist, school counselor, job counselor. You can even be an astrologer, because second house represents family tradition, culture. 10th house is career. Usually in India, this has a strong inclination towards astrological career as well. But mainly, if let's say it's ruling the Sagittarius house and it's in the 10th house, that means it's in the sign of Leo, of government, of like politics and entertainment. It can represent a lot of things, but mainly here it can show somebody who's working either in government as a lawyer or judge, or somebody who's in the world of finance and taking care of finance for a private firm, or taking care of finance for perhaps maybe a government firm. Okay, Saturn rules your second house. Saturn rules your second house, goes into the 8th house. Not the 8th house. Goes into the 10th house. What happens then? Okay, well, let's say if Saturn is ruling, is Aquarius sign is in your second house, Saturn goes into the 10th house. Saturn is exalted, especially around 20 degrees. If Saturn is at between 15 to 20 degrees, Saturn is exalted. And Saturn is what? Saturn is hard work. Saturn is discipline, organization, structure, It represents boundaries. It represents realistic things, redundant things, meaning that repetitive jobs shows working with iron, coal, and petroleum as in gasoline, and any kind of things that are buried underground as well with Saturn. And Saturn also is a significator of real estate construction, meaning construction can be seen from Saturn. So when Saturn is exalted in the 10th house, it can show that what you value first of all is hard work. Like people say, look, I value hard work. That's a strong indication with this Saturn. And what this shows, Saturn is all about realistic things, realistic achievements, realistic, ranking. Saturn is about rank. Saturn loves to rise to the rank through hard work. So what this shows, this person wants to rise to the highest rank through their hard work, through their discipline and organization in the career field. And what they value again is in their career. They value hard work. They value structure and organization in their life. But here's the thing though about Saturn. Saturn is a slow moving planet, and Saturn delays things because he's so slow. It's like a messenger just walking instead of taking a car to deliver a message. So what this shows is that Saturn likes to rise through the rank, through time, through hard work, and through discipline. And the success in career sometimes comes slow. It's steady growth, but it's slow. So what this shows that these people, what they start valuing, especially after the age of 28, is patience. Second Lord, Saturn ruling the second house of value and wealth, goes into the 10th house. The first thing you'll notice, they value patience after a while, and they value hard work. They realize that only through hard work will I rise. Nobody's going to feed me or give me a free hand. However, this is a strong indication for government administration work as well, because Saturn is the original controller of the 10th house of government. It puts law and order into the things. So Saturn is really can represent like a judge, somebody who's not only an attorney but can be a congressman who implies the law into the government, who brings social norm into the society or into the government. This can be a what do you call those revolutionists. These people can be those who fight for like non-profit organization or fight for the poor people, and they make that as the value in their career. So those are the things that you got to realize. From each planet comes a different kind of a feeling and scenario in this in your astrological chart. Okay, so guys, this was my analysis of Saturn or not Saturn but planets of second lord in the 10th house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below, and if you want to know about your conjunction aspects and all the secrets of astrology, check out the links below and check out my all the 3 books there: Aspects, Astrology, and Conjunctions at the Speed of Light. And when you get these books, I will send you the link to look at your own chart. And also, I'm going to be bringing a new feature on my website with regards to your most accurate planetary placements, okay, like an astrological report regarding your most accurate degrees, okay, and that will be starting around September 7th. All right, so see you next time. Bye-bye.